In the quiet space between your heartbeat and your next breath, there's a secret most people never notice. Science, the thing many assume belongs only in labs or textbooks, has always lived right beside you. It hums in the glow of your phone screen, in the pattern of raindrops sliding down a window, in the way your mind remembers a melody you heard only once. And today, I want to take you somewhere. Not into formulas or equations, not into technical explanations, but into the kind of science that sits silently inside your life, shaping your choices, your emotions, your sense of wonder. Because this story isn't about scientists in white coats. It's about you, and the hidden machinery of the universe that has been holding your hand long before you knew its name. So take a breath, slow down, and step with me into the world of science, for everyone's science that was always yours. Because the truth is beautifully simple. Science isn't a subject. It's a lens, a way of seeing, a way of asking why the world behaves the way it does. When you were a child, you lived inside that lens without even realizing it. Why is the sky blue? What makes thunder? How do birds fly? You were curious by nature, unfiltered, unafraid to wonder. You didn't know it then, but every question was an experiment. Every moment of awe was data. Somewhere along the way, adulthood took that curiosity and turned it into something graded, something measured, evaluated, judged. Life replaced wonder with routine. But that spark, the one that once made you stare at the stars with your mouth slightly open, is still somewhere inside you. It's quieter now, but it's waiting. And if you pause, if you listen closely, you can feel it flicker, because real science was never meant to be distant. It was meant to feel intimate, personal, human. So let me start with something small, something simple, something you already know, but probably never noticed. Imagine holding a warm cup of tea, the rising steam, the heat pressing into your palms, the tiny shock of warmth as your fingers adjust. Most people just see a drink, but through the scientific lens, the scene becomes a story. Heat traveling, molecules vibrating faster, nerves sending signals to your brain, chemistry, physics, biology all unfolding quietly in your hands. And here's the part people forget. You don't need to understand the equations to feel the truth of the heat. You don't need technical words to experience what's real. Science doesn't demand expertise. It only asks for attention. Because every moment, every breath, every sensation is a scientific phenomenon hiding in plain sight. You don't stand outside science. You are made of it. But let's push further. Let's go cosmic. The atoms in your body, the carbon in your skin, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood were forged inside ancient stars. Stars that lived, burned, collapsed, and scattered their remains across the universe long before Earth even existed. Every time you sigh, you breathe particles shaped by explosions older than language. Every time you blink, dust from a supernova moves with you. This isn't poetry. This is astrophysics. And yet, you don't need a telescope to feel the weight of it. You don't need charts or graphs to understand the magnitude of being made from the remnants of suns. Science gives us perspective. You are small, yes, but also unbelievably miraculous. Being tiny in the universe doesn't make you insignificant. It makes your existence even more extraordinary. And still, the greatest scientific truths don't always arrive on cosmic scales. Sometimes, they show up in moments so familiar you barely notice them, like the way you remember a childhood smell instantly, even if it's been years. Why does that happen? Because your brain wires sent directly to emotion and memory. I know. Other sense does that, so a single fragrance ring on pavement, your mother's cooking, an old perfume can pull you through time in an instant. This is science quietly guiding your life. You don't see the neurons firing. You don't hear synapses connecting. You only feel the rush of nostalgia and assume it's emotion. But beneath the feeling is biology, intricate, elegant, beautiful biology. Science happens inside you, even when you're unaware of it. Let me take you into a real moment. A moment when science touched a life without announcing itself. A man once stood at a bus stop, his shoulders heavy, his eyes fixed on the ground. Work, money, expectations, everything felt like too much. But then, something simple drifted into his vision. A child blowing soap bubbles. Thin, delicate spheres, floating into the air with impossible grace. As sunlight hit them, each bubble shimmered reds, greens, blues, like a rainbow swirling inside a fragile shell of water. The man didn't know the physics behind it. How thin layers of liquid bent light into color. How surface tension sculpted perfect spheres. How gravity and air currents played tiny tug-of-war games on each bubble's skin. He didn't know any of that. He just knew one thing. For the first time in weeks, he felt lighter, and that moment, that subtle shift in his chest, was science quiet. Invisible offering him of breath of peace. That's the hidden magic of science. It doesn't always arrive as a breakthrough or a headline. Sometimes it arrives as a bubble, a reflection, a tiny realization that changes the way you see the world. But there's a deeper truth beneath that magic. Science doesn't just explain things. It teaches us how to approach life, to stay curious, to wonder, to observe before we assume, to look closer when things feel uncertain. And in a world full of confusion and noise, curiosity becomes a lifeline, a way to reconnect with yourself. The moment you choose to wonder, even a little, you regain the ability to find meaning in the ordinary. You reclaim the spark that makes life feel alive. And here's something most people never admit. Science can be emotional, deeply emotional, because understanding something doesn't take away its magic. If anything, it heightens it. Think of someone you love, their laugh, their warmth, the rhythm of their heartbeat. Knowing that every one of those things is powered by electrical signals and chemical exchanges doesn't diminish the feeling. It amplifies it. You begin to see not just the person, but the unbelievable orchestration of biology that enables them to exist. You see the poetry and the physics, the emotion and the mechanism. And suddenly, every small moment, a hug, a smile, a quiet conversation becomes a scientific symphony humming beneath the surface of ordinary life. Science doesn't reduce wonder, it multiplies it. So pause with me for a moment. Step back and observe your own existence. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle hum of life moving through you. Everything you're feeling, everything you are is the product of billions of years of cosmic accidents, evolutionary victories, and chemical dances. You are not random. You are the result of a universe that spent unimaginable time assembling the exact ingredients required for you to exist. Out of all the galaxies, all the stars, all the swirling matter, you ended up here. Listening, breathing, becoming aware of yourself in a way no other species has mastered. And science, the very thing many people think is cold or distinct, can explain the mechanics without extinguishing the miracle. Because explanation is not the enemy of wonder. It is a doorway to it. So as this journey comes to an end, I want you to carry something with you. Science is not separate from your life. It's the language your life is written in. Every emotion, every memory, every spark of inspiration, every quiet moment of awe, all of it is science speaking through you. So the next time you feel small, remember the stars inside your blood. The next time life feels overwhelming, remember that curiosity is your compass. And the next time the world feels dull or silent, slow down, pay attention. Because science is already there, waiting, whispering, revealing itself in the soft glow of a morning sky, in the warmth of your hands, in the quiet miracle of simply being alive. And when you finally notice that whisper, you'll realize the universe has been speaking to you all along. Not through equations, not through theories, but through the simple truth that you are, part of something far bigger than you could ever imagine.